So yeah, here we are again. If you know me, you know I love taking care of some fiddle leaf figs. I love being stressed out. I love being concerned every single day whether or not they're going to stay alive or if they're going to die on me. I really love that. No, I'm joking. I don't love that. It's so stressful. The fiddle leaf fig is the most finicky plant I've ever owned, and I'm sure you feel the same way. So why are we still trying to keep them in our homes? I mean, come on. I know why. Because they're so darn gorgeous. What a wonderful plant, right? Great foliage, tree-like shape. You have a tree in your home. You have a tree house. Many of us still have issues in how to keep them healthy. So this is Fiddle Leaf Fig Care 2.0. I sent out a post asking for your questions again on how to help you get your fiddle leaf fig back on track. So here are the answers to your top 5 questions. So 1, what exactly are you doing? Are you overwatering or are you underwatering? You can tell this based on the look of your leaves. Yellow leaves can be a sign of overwatering. So if you start to see this, check the base of the pot to make sure your plant isn't sitting in water. And second, start to water less. Yellowing leaves can also be an old leaf dying off to give room to new growth. Brown spots, well, they're an indication of underwatering, or better yet, inconsistent watering. To avoid this, make sure you're watering your fiddle only when the top 2 inches of soil are dry to the touch. Take your finger and stick it in the dirt and do a test. If the dirt just falls off of your finger, it's time to water. If it's still a little muddy and sticks to your finger, well, then I'd wait. So then you want to make sure you're watering your fiddle so that all of the water goes through the drainage hole and then it sits in the base tray. Once you see that happen, you want to let the water in the base tray sit there for about 15 to 20 minutes, or take the base tray and toss all of that runoff water. Now, if the pot is too heavy for you to move off the base tray, what I consider is grabbing a towel, placing it around the base tray, and letting that towel suck up all that runoff water. I tend to water my fiddles every 7 days, but I always make sure to do the finger test before I do so. Second, let's talk about light. My fiddles have been living their best life in bright indirect light. These windows here are northeast facing and each are 8 by 4 feet in size, and I never close the blinds. So I have the luxury of having a lot of light. Many of you might not have this sort of setting, so you're going to see different results. If you don't get much light, you won't have a successful fiddle. This fiddle here is one I rescued from a restaurant in town, and you can see here how it looked just a year ago before I moved it into this room. They had it in a dark area of their restaurant, and when I took it from them, it had about 7 leaves left and 2 completely dead branches. I mean, now look at it. Great light and consistent care will do this. It's doing so well that now it started to develop really large leaves as it grew, which has made it top heavy. Once this starts to happen, you have to find a way to anchor it so that it doesn't continue to grow and fall over. I use invisible hanging wire and a staple gun. I staple one end to the wall and tie the other to the branch of the fiddle. This is how I keep the limbs of my fiddle frank, all in view of the light and why he has the shape he does. Third, when a fiddle leaf fig is doing its best, it'll start to create new branches on its own. But sometimes you want to encourage that yourself. If you look at the branch of your fiddle, from the base to the tip of the new growth, you'll see a change in the look of the branch. At the base, it's hard and brown like a tree. But as you get closer to the new growth, it starts to look more green, more alive. In the green area of the branch is where you want to cut the branch to encourage it to split into 2 new branches. You can see here how the farm cut the branch and it split into more branches. I tried it here on my small fiddle and it split into 2 new branches. This is made easier when your fiddle is anywhere between 3 to 5 feet in height. But if you have one long branch like the fiddle here, I wouldn't really suggest it. Fourth, this particular fiddle started one all on its own at the very top, but it being already top heavy, I had to remove the branch by cutting it where it was still green. This will now allow me to propagate the cutting by placing it in tap water and waiting for it to develop roots. It works best when it's in bright indirect light, not direct sunlight. This could take weeks, but if you're patient, it'll happen. Lastly, if your fiddle hasn't grown in the last 6 months, then I would say that there is an issue. I would suggest the following. Repot your fiddle. Give it more room for the roots to spread its arms. 2, maybe try rotating the fiddle. Rotating the fiddle every other month encourages all of the branches to get a little bit of the window action. And third, I suggest fertilizing your fiddle. I fertilize my fiddles throughout spring and summer, every other watering. These are all ways to help encourage your fiddle to grow and be strong and to look beautiful. So what can I say? I love doing this, and I hope this really helps you get your fiddle leaf figs back on track, healthy again, so it can alleviate some of the stress that you might have or you might be carrying on your shoulders. You go to bed, you're stressed out, you're having nightmares that you wake up and all the leaves have fallen off your fiddle leaf fig. Maybe that actually happened, but hopefully these tips will help. Second, if you're having a lot of issues, there are other great, large, beautiful trees to bring into your home. My suggestion, the rubber tree, the variegated rubber tree, both beautiful, beautiful plants to have in your home. So if you're just having a hard time, if you're just struggling with the fiddle leaf fig, but you really want to have a really large, beautiful indoor plant in your home, I suggest the rubber tree. I hope this helps. Have fun.